Hello everybody and welcome to chapter 6 of the book of Shemot as we continue to travel through Tanach. Chapter 6 has 30 verses and it bridges the very end of Parshas Shemot and the beginning of Parshas Va'era. Therefore it starts on page 386 and 387 of the Koren Sachs Chumash, but only for that one verse. This chapter picks up after Moshe's anguished question at the end of chapter 5. Hashem responds not with an explanation but with a promise. And we see at the beginning of Parshas Va'era that Hashem introduces himself in a deeper way. To the Avos he appeared as one name of Hashem, Kel Shakai, but now he reveals himself as the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, as Hashem, the God who fulfills promises in history. We also read about the 4 famous expressions of redemption that we will be familiar with from Seder night: V'hotzeti, V'hitzalti, V'goalti, V'lakachti. I will take you out, I will save you, I will redeem you, and I will take you. Moshe delivers the message, but the people can't hear it. The Torah tells us that they did not listen because of shortness of breath and because of the crushing hard labor. The chapter then goes into a genealogy in order to set up Moshe and Aaron as the suitable leaders of the Jewish people. And the chapter ends with Moshe again doubting himself before confronting Pharaoh. With that in mind, let us turn to chapter 6, verse 1, the final verse of Parshas Shemos. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Hashem said to Moshe, Ata, now, sir'eh asher e'aseh leFaro. You're about to see what I will do to Pharaoh. Ki v'yad chazakah yishalchem, for by a mighty hand he will send them forth. U'v'yad chazakah yigarshem mi'artzo, and by a mighty hand he will drive them from this land. Verse 2, which marks the beginning of Parshas Va'era. Vaydaber Elohim el Moshe. Hashem spoke to Moshe, Vayomer elav, saying to him, Ani Adonai. I am Yud Kei Vav Kei, one of the names of Hashem. Verse 3, Va'era, and I appeared, El Avraham, El Yitzchak, ve'el Yaakov, be'el Shaddai. I appeared to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov through the name El Shaddai. Ushmi Adonai lo nodati lahem. But by my name, with the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey, I did not make myself known to them. Verse 4, V'gam hakimosi es brisi etam, and I made a covenant with them, laseis lahem es eretz Canaan, to give them the land of Canaan, es eretz megurehem asher garuva, the land where they lived as strangers. Verse 5, V'gam ani shomati, and I have also heard es na'akas b'nei Yisrael asher Mitzrayim ma'avidim osam, and now I have heard the groaning of the Israelites, whom the Egyptians are holding as slaves, va'izkor es brisi, and I remember my covenant. Verse 6, Lachein, therefore, emor livnei Yisrael, say to bnei Yisrael, Ani Adonai, I am Hashem, va'hotzeisi eschem, mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim, and I will free you from the forced labor of the Egyptians, v'hitzalti eschem me'avodasam, and I will rescue you from slavery. V'goalti eschem bizro netuya uv'shvatim gdolim, and I will liberate you with an outstretched arm and with great acts of judgment. Verse 7, V'lokachti eschem li la'am, and I will take you as my people. V'hayisi lachem le'elohim, and I will be your God. V'yidatem ki ani Adonai Elohechem, then you will know that I am Hashem your God. Hamotzi eschem mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim, who takes you out from the forced labor of Egypt. Verse 8, V'hevesi eschem el haaretz, and I will bring you to the land, asher nasasi es yadi, to the land that I promised. Laseis osa la'Avraham li'Yitzchak u'li'Yaakov, to give to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. V'nosati osa lachem marasha ani Adonai, and I will give it as a possession to you, for I am Hashem. And our rabbis explain that he is saying that I am the Hashem who has made this promise, and I am the Hashem who will deliver this promise as well. Verse 9, Vaydaber Moshe Kain el Bnei Yisrael. Moshe told this to the Bnei Yisrael. V'lo shamu el Moshe, but they did not listen to Moshe, mikotze ruach u'me'avoda kasha, because of their shortness of breath and because of the brutal labor. Verse 10, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, verse 11, Bo daber el Paro melech Mitzrayim. Go and tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, V'shalach es Bnei Yisrael mi'artzo, to send the Bnei Yisrael forth from his land. Verse 12, Vaydaber Moshe lifnei Adonai lemor. But Moshe said to Hashem, saying, Hein b'nei Yisrael lo shamu elai. The Bnei Yisrael have not listened to me. Ve'eich yishma'ini Pharaoh. How then will Pharaoh listen? V'ani aral sfasayim, and I am a man of uncircumcised lips. Verse 13, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe v'el Aharon. And Hashem said to Moshe and to Aharon, Vaytzavem el bnei Israel, and commanded them regarding the children of Israel, v'el Paro melech Mitzrayim, and regarding Pharaoh king of Egypt, lahotzi es bnei Israel me'eretz Mitzrayim, to take the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And now the chapter pivots to talk about a genealogy of some of the tribes of Israel. Verse 14, Eile Roshei Beis Avosam. These were the heads of their fathers' houses. Bnei Reuven, the children of Reuven, Bechor Yisrael, the firstborn of Yisrael, Chanoch Ufalu, Chetzron v'Charmi, Eile Mishpachos Reuven. These were the families of Reuven. Verse 15, of Bnei Shimon, and the children of Shimon, Yemuel, V'Yamin, V'Ohad, V'Yachin, V'Tzochar, V'Shaul ben Aknanis, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman, Eile Mishpachos Shimon. These are the families of Shimon. Verse 16, Ve'eile Shemos b'nei Levi, L'Soldosam. These are the names of Levi's sons by their lineage, Gershon, Ukahas, Umerari. Ushnei Chayei Levi, Sheva Ushloshim U'Me'as Shana. Levi lived for 137 years. And our rabbis point out that the reason why the Torah tells us Levi's lifespan at this point is because he was the last of the 12 sons of Jacob to die, and that was the triggering point for the Bnei Israel to then be enslaved. Verse 17, Bnei Gershon, the children of Gershon, Livni v'Shim'i le'mishpachosam, were Livni and Shim'i, according to their families. Verse 18, of Bnei Kahas, and the children of Kahas, Amram, which is the father of Moshe and Aaron and Miriam, V'Yitzhar v'Chevron v'Uziel, Ushnei Chayei Kahas, Shalosh u'Shloshim u'Me'as Shana. And Kahas lived for 133 years. Verse 19, of Bnei Merari, the children of Merari, Machli u'Mushi, were Machli and Mushi, Eile Mishpachos HaLevi leSoldosam. These are the families of the Levites by their lineage. Verse 20, Vayikach Amram, es Yocheved dodaso lo leisha. Amram married Yocheved, his father's sister, his aunt. Vateled lo es Aharon ve'es Moshe, who bore him Aaron and Moshe. Ushnei Chayei Amram, Sheva u'Shloshim Me'as Shana. And Amram lived for 137 years. Verse 21, of Bnei Yitzhar, and the children of Yitzhar, Korach, V'Nefeg V'Zichri. And Korach will pop up again in the book of Bamidbar as someone who challenges Moshe and Aaron to their leadership. Verse 22, of Bnei Uziel, the children of Uziel, Mishael Ve'Elsafan V'Sisri. Verse 23, Vayikach Aharon es Elisheva bas Aminadav. Aaron took for a wife Elisheva, the daughter of Aminadav, Achos Nachshon, the sister of Nachshon, lo leisha. He took her for a wife. Vateled lo es Nadav ve'Savihu, and she bore him Nadav and Avihu, es Elazar ve'es Isamar, as well as Elazar and Itamar. Verse 24, of Bnei Korach, the children of Korach, Asir ve'Elkanah ve'Aviasaph, Eile Mishpachos HaKorchi. These are the families of Korach. Verse 25, Elazar ben Aharon, Elazar the son of Aharon, Lakach lo mebnos Putiel lo leisha. He took one of the daughters of Putiel as a wife, Vateled lo es Pinchas, and she bore him Pinchas. Eile Roshei Avos HaLeviim leMishpachosam. These are the heads of the Levite clans by their families. And a lot of the people that we've been reading about will be names that resurface throughout the stories of the Jewish people after their freedom from Egypt. Verse 26, Hu Aharon u'Moshe. These were the Aaron and Moshe, Asher Omar Adonai lahem, Hotziu es b'nei Yisrael, me'eretz Mitzrayim al tzivosam. To whom Hashem said, bring the Israelites out of Egypt by their battalions. And our rabbis point out that in this verse, it puts Aaron's name before Moshe, whereas in other verses, it puts Moshe's name before Aaron. And the reason is, as our rabbis explain, that they were equal in stature. And so it doesn't make a difference if the Torah puts one name before the other. It is there to emphasize that they are both incredibly great men. Verse 27, Heim hamadabrim el paro melech Mitzrayim. It was they who spoke up to Pharaoh, lahotzi es b'nei Yisrael Mitzrayim, to bring the Bnei Yisrael out of Egypt. Hu Moshe v'Aharon. This same Moshe and Aharon. And there you see again, this time it's Moshe and Aaron, rather than Aaron and Moshe. Verse 28, Vayhi bayom diber Adonai el Moshe be'eretz Mitzrayim. It was on the day when Hashem spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt. Verse 29, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemo. And Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, Ani Adonai. I am the name of Hashem that is spelled a Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey. Daber el Paro melech Mitzrayim. Tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, Es kol asher ani daver elecha, all that I am telling you. And finally, verse 30, Vayama Moshe lifnei Adonai. But Moshe replied to Hashem, Hein ani aral sfasayim. You know that I have uncircumcised lips. You know I have this problem with speaking to Pharaoh. Ve'ech yishma elai paro. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? And this could be understood on the one hand. If Bnei Yisrael were not listening to me, how can it then be that Pharaoh is going to listen to me? Or alternatively, as we were saying in the previous chapter, because of Moshe's high level, he is unable to speak in a way that Pharaoh will understand. Either way, this chapter ends with Moshe still being in doubt of his suitability to get the Jewish people released from Egypt. That brings us to the end of chapter 6. In chapter 7, we will finally start to see the 10 plagues being introduced. I look forward to learning that with you soon. In the meantime, have a wonderful and meaningful day.